Hey everybody, Matt Rice. We're here from Bushnell HQ. I've got Travis, I've got Brian, I've got Chad. It's been a big weekend. As we updated you guys last week, we had product managers on the road, engineers on the road, ambassadors on the road. So we just wanted to come back, give you a little recap of how things went. So we'll kick it off with a little bit of an overview of the Gap Grind. This was my first time shooting the Gap Grind. What can I say? It was humbling. It was fun. Lots of letdown range. These two guys have shot it before. What'd you guys think? As I'm a first timer, what did you think as a reoccurring Gap Grind participant?
It's a good match. It was a lot tougher this year than last year, for sure. Scores were a little bit lower, a little bit tougher targets. It's fun.
Yeah, I agree. More of a challenge, but that's good. That's why we're in it.
So if you don't know, the Gap Grind is the first, I think it's really the only amateur pro PRS match. It's the largest one. We're at K&Y and Precision. Shannon Kay, George Gardner, those guys do a lot of work putting this match on, and it's obviously not possible without their work. Bushnell was the title sponsor, but there were a lot of other great sponsors that were there, and then a whole group of ROs that gave up essentially a weekend, and some of them gave up weeks getting this thing prepped off. So I didn't know my amateur. Some people had the opportunity to get to meet your amateur, even sign up with your amateur beforehand and compete. Did you guys know your amateur coming in, or was this the first time you met him? It's the first time for all of us, right?
Yeah, I met him Saturday morning.
Yep, met mine Friday morning. His name was Jamie. He's a great shot, great guy. Had a really good time.
So you pair up. There were probably 12 of us in one squad, and then we shot through 20 in one squad. We shot through 20 stages of fire. Everything from going into a bus and shooting at targets downrange to engaging kind of a hostage type simulation. What was your funnest course? I know what mine was.
Moving targets really fun. The school bus, we had to climb into a school bus with our amateur at the same time, and then engage targets through a bus window that were 700 yards in range. That was really fun.
Yeah, and then following up the shooting out of a bus, there was a hostage situation like Matt mentioned. We were shooting into a bus, a different bus, obviously. And it was pretty cool because the bad guy targets were flipped down. So it was really good feedback as soon as you hit the target.
Unless you missed like me and then you didn't hear the RO call out anything but re-engage or just dead silence, which is not what you want to hear. But no, we had a great time. As these guys said, it was a kind of a learning experience, a chance to test our equipment. I was running the DMR-2. What were you guys running this weekend? Both
XRS-2 with a H59 reticle.
Yep, new DMR-2 Pro with G3 reticle.
What about that DMR-2 Pro? We had a lot of questions out there. What's the difference between the DMR-2 Pro and the XRS? A lot of people were asking us, what was what? You want to run down?
Yeah, we got a lot of positive feedback on the the DMR-2 Pro. The big difference between the DMR and the DMR-2 Pro is the glass. So we took the best glass we could get, which is the same as the glasses in the XRS-2, put it into a DMR, which is our best-selling format, 321 by 50, and the name of the DMR-2 Pro. So there's just a big step between optical quality for the DMR and DMR-2 Pro. So the Pro was also been handled really good.
So all of our ambassador team was pretty much running the pros. I think a couple people were running the XRS-2.
Yep.
But how many? I lost count of how many people. Probably at least 10 or 11 from between Team Gap and kind of Team Bushnell. And then I don't know how many other people were running Bushnells at this match. It would just seem like every time I turned around, somebody was either talking about their Bushnell or was wanting to show us what they were running on their scope.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Bushnell spotters, the LMSS and the Legend T spotter. I saw a lot of those. We had the new Forge 15 by 56 binos out on a couple different stages. And I saw a ton of XRS-2s out there. The DMR-2 Pro is probably a little too new to see them out on the circuit yet, but there's a ton of XRS-2s out there.
Yeah, even original XRSs and a couple DMRs. So yeah, heavy Bushnell presence for sure.
So we were kind of paired up together. We were shooting with a couple of our other ambassadors. Of course, we all know the king of the 2 mile. All hail the king. Robert Brantley was on our team. It was great watching him. What'd you guys pick up from watching Robert kind of tear down a stage? It was fun watching that guy in action. To me, it was his wind calling ability. That's something that I'll admit that I'm not very good at, and to watch him get behind that spotting scope and be able to call wind for his amateurs and then the other amateurs that were shooting, that's pretty impressive stuff. That's hard to do.
Yeah, position building strategy. I'd love to have gone behind him every time. That way I knew what to do and what not to do.
Watching him use his Armageddon gear bags was something I wish I would have watched him do sooner.
Yeah, I agree.
I shot stages with my bipod that I had the gun falling over and the gun falling off a rock, and then Brantley cleaned it with just one bag. That was a game changer. So I will put that into use. We're traveling this weekend again to another match, so I will definitely put some of those into use. Brantley's Brand's a hell of a shot. He finished 11th overall.
Yep. Had a
guy,
great run.
yeah.
I think probably one of the coolest things I saw was Tom shooting with Cabela, his daughter. I mean, I talked to Tom after the match, and he was just couldn't have enough positive things to say. And he said, "I can't believe I haven't done this." So, if you don't know, Cabela, congratulations on that finish. She was like 81st overall, finished way up there. And she's one of our newest junior ambassadors. So, a big congratulations to her and what she was able to accomplish. But to watch her and Tom and just the enjoyment that they had, she had shot a match a couple weeks ago with Missy, one of our other ambassadors. I think that was her first official PRS match, and then she shot the gap grind. So that was super cool. Not only her, but there were a lot of younger shooters out there enjoying that for the first time.
Yeah, it was really funny. She was really upset that we didn't have she couldn't wear a Bushnell hat. You had to wear a gap grind hat.
Why was that? So people might not understand what
the gap grind, it's a pro-am. So there's a pro and an AM, and they have different targets, different ranges, different positions. So for the RO to know which one's which, the pros had a tan hat and the AMs had a green hat, so that when you walked up and said your name, they knew which targets to look at based on your hat. So she was wanting to wear a Bushnell hat, and she couldn't. She was really upset. So we tried really hard to find her shirt or jersey. Couldn't find it. So
couldn't get one at a time.
We told Cabela at the match that she was our first and our favorite junior ambassador. We're going to make her a jersey. Hopefully before next season starts, we'll get her a jersey. We'll say Bushnell Junior Ambassador. So the funniest thing she said, maybe the funniest thing I heard all weekend was I saw her about halfway through the first day, and I walked up to her. She was under a tent getting some shade, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She said, "Better than Dad." I couldn't stop laughing, man. I went and sought out Tom Fuller and told him what she said. It was so funny. She had a great outlook on the whole weekend. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was just so great to watch somebody, obviously working with Tom. She knew what she was doing.
Oh, yeah.
Put a lot of people to shame, but just the enjoyment that she has. And, she's going to go back, tell her friends, get more people involved. But, yeah, when she made that post on Instagram, I think, and said I beat Dad by 6 points or whatever it was, that cracked me up, too. You could tell she took a lot of pride in that. And obviously there were a lot of great pros on her team. Brian Sykes was out there shooting when he wasn't getting his hair done by Missy, getting the braid action. He said that helps with the win calls. I told him I needed that pro tip before the match because it didn't help me out any, but just great. So while we're all out there in Finger, Tennessee, Chad is with two of our other ambassadors, Casey and Jesse, at the first, I don't know if this is first ever, but with the Metagroup Summit. Chad, tell us what was going on out there, man.
Yeah, so that was their first ever Metagroup Skills Summit. So that their consulting company's been around for about a year. They do a lot of consulting for both the military and civilian world. But this was their first big event. They had 3 segments, as well as a lot of little fun activities to do. But it was pistol instruction from KC and another GM from the Atlanta area. It was long-range shooting from a Special Forces sniper. It's a friend of KC's that came in to do the shooting portion. And then the third segment was medical.
I saw some of that.
They had a Special Forces medic come in and teach us basically a stop the bleeding type class and address kind of the catastrophic wound potentially you'd have on a range incident.
Yeah.
So
good stuff for everybody to know.
Yeah, really good instruction.
So what year were you guys running out there? I know some elite tags, some of the first strikes. I want to run everybody through the gear you guys were running.
Yeah, it was actually a really cool event. You basically show up, and they had all the gear there for you. So from the Bushnell side, we were really heavily sponsoring the long range section of the match. So we had HDMR2s on top of ZevTech rifles that we had out at the match. And then we had LMSS and Legend T spotting scopes, as well as a set of 15 by 56 binos on the line for spotting.
It connects.
And yeah, we also had the 1 mile elite rangefinders, the Connex version with the Kestrels. So everything in the class was done on holdovers off a Horus reticle. So for a lot of the guys, they came to the class because they knew Casey and Jesse from pistol side, and they were either USPSA shooters or Steel Challenge shooters. And this was really, for a lot of them, their first experience shooting past 300 yards, and we had targets shooting 5.56 out to 550. So it's really fun.
That's something we kind of take for granted. I think we always talk about that in some of our meetings is how far do most people shoot? And, feel free to, add a comment on there. What's your furthest shot? Anxious to hear. I mean, I think before I joined the industry, I thought anything past 100 yards was kind of a long shot. And then the more familiar you are with different firearms and shooting different competitions, that barrier keeps getting down. And then, out there at the Gap Grind, I think our largest as a pro was 1,200.
Yep.
And even the AMs were shooting 1,000. So, it seems like we're closing that distance of what is considered long range in this industry. And it's kind of interesting to see that evolution and what people consider what's my furthest shot that I've taken. So what about you guys? Furthest shot you've taken on anything?
Furthest shot I've hit was 14.
Okay.
I've taken a shot at a mile with an AR at a goofy with a goofy guy from Recoil Magazine. We were having some fun and didn't hit it. Couldn't tell me it was 223, but 1,400 is my furthest hit.
Yeah, probably around 1,300. And I think that was at the place we're headed to this weekend, too. So they'll probably have that same stage. Wind is tough on that stage. There's a big valley, and it's tough. It's foggy a lot of times. I hit it maybe 1 out of every 5, hoping to better that this time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not missing big, but, a miss is a miss in that event for sure.
Chad, what about you? For the shot?
Just a little over 1,400.
So, just over?
Yeah.
Like just over.
2 yards.
Whatever Brian said. At about 5 yards further. So you alluded to it. You guys are off again this weekend. Tell everybody where you're heading at and where they can find you.
Yep, we're going to the Jurassic Classic. It's the Bushnell Jurassic Classic. Yeah, it's the first annual. I forget what town it's in.
I think it's just outside of Copperell.
Yeah, Copperell, Texas. Jordy Richardson is the match director for the Bushnell Jurassic Classic. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It's going to be a good time.
Somebody said there's actually dinosaur bones on the stage of fire. Like you can actually find stuff while you're shooting. Is that correct?
Yes. So we'll have to find out what the specifics are this weekend with Jordy. But
that's wild.
It has something to do with the amount of dinosaur bones or relics that have been found in this area. But they've said that people will find them walking from stage to stage in the dirt, just laying there. So
and can you take them with you? Do you know?
I think
just,
so.
grab
I'm going
souvenir?
to. I'm going to, unless Jordy's listening.
Slip it in your range bag and walk away.
Right? Yeah. Why not?
Hey, one question I wanted to ask you guys is just kind of the gear on these matches. I mean, what is your go-to list in your game bag? So whether for Chad, I know you're shooting a lot of 3-gun, a lot of pistol shooting. You guys have been shooting a lot of PRS this year. Why don't you walk everybody through maybe your top 3 things that as soon as you get in the car before you leave in the morning has to be in your bag no matter what? What even odd things? Maybe it's a good luck token, a letter from your kids. I mean, what is it that you're not going to go shoot without?
Definitely my Camelback bladder. Man, I'm thirsty on Saturday and Sunday, I'll say that. Got a couple Armageddon gear bags, Game Changer, fat bag, got a tab rear bag. Man, I think I'd be stuck without that tab rear bag. It's just the right height for my rifle setup. So, beyond the obvious of rifle and ammo, I'd say those 2 things, or those 3 or 4 things.
Yeah, I didn't forget. I grabbed the wrong ammo for the Gap Grind last year. Thank God we collectively brought enough for me to cover. But outside of gun and ammo, that was a bad day. I got a mini Game Changer from Tom Fuller just a couple weeks ago. That was an awesome bag. I used it almost every stage this year. Man, I've used my Fix-It Sticks toolkits over and over.
That was a big one.
I had to fix a guy's scope. His base had come loose. We had to take the scope off on our last stage of the day and tighten down his base onto his gun and reapply it. And then Travis always brings us the lab radar chronograph. So, you travel different temperatures and altitudes and stuff, and your speed can really change a lot and make a big difference. So, the Kestrel is probably the biggest thing that I can't live without. If I didn't have that Kestrel, I would be just throwing shots down range with no idea where it's going. So, those are the big hitters.
I had that, and I was still managing those shots down range. Not knowing that. Chad, what about you, man? What's in your go-to bag? What do you have to have?
So for PRS, it'll mimic a lot of the stuff that these guys already said. On the 3-gun and pistol shooting side, the biggest ones for me are eyewear that doesn't fog up, and I'm a big snob about electronic earplugs. I really like being able to hear commands, being able to hear steel, just being able to hear really well but still protect my hearing. So those are one, and then the other is I always take a towel and some rosin grip because it's just super sweaty in the summer, and you get sunscreen or something on your hands, and you'll never be able to hold your pistol. So even with grip tape and everything, I have to have rosin grip and the towel. So those are my go-tos.
You're not going to forget your tactical stroller, right?
Well, yeah, if I'm shooting 3 gun, you can't go without the tactical stroller to wheel all your gear around.
Kim Tran just made a good point. She said range snacks. Dude, if I didn't have beef jerky on the range, I wouldn't have made it. One. You'd have been carrying me around on your shoulders.
I'm real sensitive to heat as well, so bringing Pedialyte or something like that, some sort of electrolyte to mix in with water, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I know Adam Whitecotton's always rolling around with Skittles. He had a nickname for him. I can't remember what it was, but they do make you shoot good.
Yeah, it's funny because you're out there and you think about, okay, I'm going to go shoot for 2 days. We're going to be around a lot of people. There'll be hydration stations. But, 2 days is a long time to shoot. And when you're shooting in the heat and you're really kind of concentrating on what you're supposed to do, it just wears you not only physically but mentally. And, having that stuff, I think, is really important to have. Just kind of, even a little sugar. I was refusing all the Coke's products. I didn't want to dehydrate anymore. But I did have a little candy in my bag, just that little pep, little sugar energy to get you through that next match. Because I think people forget, if it's your first time shooting a match, I think these guys laid out some good tips, is to think about that kind of prep work, that things you can't do when you're not at the match yourself, and just kind of building that into your regimen, into your training schedule. And when you get out there, it'll pay a lot of dividends to have that stuff with you and not be chasing it down. So med kit always includes some sort of small med kit, cuts, bruises, slides are running back and forth, bolts are closing. It's very easy to get something cut. Can't tell me how many times I pulled that out of my bag, so that's one thing I gained. Kestrel, even though it didn't really help, it helped. So enjoy the Kestrel, and then probably, either a game bag or some sort of toolkit, as I mentioned, but just some of those little things, if I leave and I don't have them. Extra magazines, I had to borrow one of Travis's because didn't have my 10-rounder when I went. I showed up with 2 5s, and when you're shooting courses of fire that are 10 rounds, 2 5s get you absolutely nowhere. So, and that was something that I just goofed on before I came. I had it laying out, but didn't grab it. So
yeah, and, something else, talking about all this gear, all the competitors at the events I've been to, whether you're in direct competition with them or they're way above you or way behind you, if you need some help or need a piece of kit, everyone's always really grateful to help out.
Yep.
So yeah, it's really cool. It's a good community.
Yep. We actually heard the Trigger Tech guys offered up, if you have trigger problems, holler at us, we'll hook you up with a new trigger. I don't know why we haven't done this before. We've always had scopes laying around. We're going to start bringing scopes to matches and start making sure the match director knows that if you have scope issues or your scope goes down, which happens all the time, not to our scopes, but our competitive scopes, we'll have extras for you. We'll be able to hook you up with scopes so you can finish the match. So we're going to start bringing those whenever we leave the house.
The lens cloths that we have out there, guys were using those on every round. The multi-tool, chamber flags. Yep. Those are all things that we've started providing at the matches I've gone. So they're all extremely viable things.
Yep.
So.
Hey, there was a pretty good question that was a little further up. Somebody asked H59 versus Tremor 3. Why do you guys prefer one over the other? And we'll throw the G3 in there, but from a reticle selection, why do you guys choose the reticles you use?
So I dial. I'm not a holdover guy unless they make me. And based on the points I got on the holdover stage at K&M, I probably should keep dialing. But the G3 I think is for me easy to grab the center zero, your crosshair. It's easy to dial the moving target marks in there. There's a 1 1/4 and 1 1/2 little half hash. They're half the height of the regular hash marks. There's 2 mover stages, and I use them every shot. Did really well on that stage last year. Did pretty good on it this year. So I like the G3 for its simpleness and how much of the target I can see, as well as the mover holds.
Yeah, H59 for me is good. A lot of that's just because I started on that when I started shooting long range, just got comfortable with it. The Tremor has a lot of nice features for sure. It to me is maybe more of a battle hardened reticle. Its additional features are maybe more geared towards that rather than competition. I think the G3 is nice and clean. Gives you a great field of view. You can see what's going on, and maybe you have a wild pull or something like that. You might catch that dust blip as opposed to maybe a busier reticle might block it. That H59 reticle, there was a stage at Heatstroke where you were allowed a little bit of prep time to lay down on the gun, find the target, and then look at it relative to a reference target. Then you had to hop up, move over maybe 10 or 20 feet,
Couldn't see the target
and you lay
anymore.
back down, and you could now only see the reference target. So for me, that reticle made it really easy to hold over both for elevation and windage, and you could find that exact dot, use it. Maybe the G3, you got to kind of use like a spatial reference. I mean, I think you can still definitely do it. But for me, it was great, especially because that was my first match ever, and just knowing that I had something that was fixed, that I could really lay on that reference target, it helped out a lot.
I think you beat me on that stage. I shot that stage, and I shot it okay. I was pretty excited because you couldn't see the target. It was difficult for me, but I think you beat me.
Yeah, cleaned it
for sure.
Actually.
You always clean it. If you beat somebody on the stage, you always clean it.
Nice.
So if you guys have any questions about any of our gear, any of the stuff that these guys are running, any of the stuff that we've got coming out now I think there's over 212 new SKUs coming out from Bushnell. Everything from the little prism sight to the big D, all new line of tack optics coming out. So I know we're getting a lot of requests. When are you going to come out with this? When is this going to hit the market? A lot of this stuff is available now. You can check out our website, see there, find a retailer. But if you have any specific questions over products, now's the time to ask and fire away. Travis is one of our engineers here. He can go as deep and as granular as you want. Brian Parrish is the product manager for Elite Tactical, TAC Ops, and AR Optics. So if you have any questions over there, now's a great time. And then Chad is doing our binos and our spotters. So a lot of intrigue on that 15x56 bino. I want to set. I know I keep handing you every day for one, but those things are great. We had a lot of people out there that were Swarovski's a great sponsor of the K&M facility as well as the Gap Grind. But man, we had a lot of people looking through the Swarovskis and looking through that 15x56. Something we actually did in the NRA booth is we had both sets up there, and we had people walking away couldn't tell the difference. So I think that speaks to the quality of what the engineers are doing and the product managers seeing things through. So if there's a question up there I missed, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, we'll just keep talking about scopes.
Yeah, there was one. They asked, "Is this the Engage series?" I'm guessing that's reference to what's on the table. These are all Elite Tacticals that are on the table.
I think they're all XRS2s.
They're all
XRS2. So 3 different colors. One's illuminated, and I'm sure a couple different reticles, but everything here is Elite Tactical.
Yep. And then there's another question: why can I not get an 8-32 or 8-36 high-end binocular?
That's a question that I've been seeing from a couple different communities of people. With the new Forge line, honestly, we just didn't see the demand for it. But as we keep going to different consumer shows, we start seeing a little bit more demand, and that's how we end up making new products. So that's good feedback. Thank you, and it's something that we'll look at.
Speaking of which, we had one of our other product managers, Greg, was running the new Forge, and from what I could tell, it certainly wasn't slowing him down. I mean, that's really what that scope was designed. If you're somebody who's a hunter who's looking to get in that long range shooting, Forge is a great option. What'd you guys think of how it worked out there? I mean, it looked like he wasn't falling behind anybody as far as reticle options, turrets, throw lever. I mean, it's a slick package.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the same zero stop that the Elite Tactical has. Excuse me. My only thought was I was worried about travel. He never ran out of travel. You got a gun, a modern gun. You're not going to need more than 10 mils of turret, and he never complained about that scope one time.
Yeah.
So I think he did pretty good with it. I was impressed.
As the match goes on, targets get shot up. They basically turn black, and some of the stages targets turn shadows. Especially day 2, shot up targets in the morning. They're tough to see, and I never heard a single complaint out of them.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got great glass, the turrets. I mean, it's a great scope. So if you're looking at something, maybe you've had your eye on Elite Tactical, not quite ready to make that investment, but you're looking for more of a multi-purpose, can't go anything wrong with a Forge. And then while you're at it, check out some of those Forge binoculars. And then if you're maybe not quite there, if you're just gearing up for this hunting season, which I know at least 2 of us at this table are a little bit giddy about it. We've got a couple other guys that are going to go a little bit more in, but Nitro and Prime, 2 other great options out there for you based on what you want. So what are you going to be on with this year? Parrish, we get any thought about what you're going to try out?
Some thought. I was hunting with the LRTS 3-12 last year. I'm either going to hunt with a Forge if Greg will give me one, or an LRTS.
Is that a plea to the camera? Is that what
I asked him a couple times. Yeah, if he's watching, Greg, I still need one. Or the LRTS 4.5-18. I like to try to use some of everything in the line, at least for something. So if I don't get a Forge, I'll be hunting with the LRTS 4.5-18 illuminated.
So I've got the Forge mounted up, ready to go. My wife's actually going to be using the Engage again. Got that mounted on muzzleloaders because we're going to be going back to Oklahoma, kicking that off. Love the Engage line. It's real simple. She loves it. She loves the Engage binos. She will not leave anywhere, and I had to get another set because she claimed these as her own. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great products out there, and we're in a very fortunate position to be able to try them all. But that's why we want to get out there and get with some of these events. So you guys, we're going to come up to you, be coming on more, doing more Facebook Live, more Instagram stories, telling you where we're going, where we're going to be at, where our sponsors are going to be, ambassadors are going to be. So if there's products that you want to see us bring out, jump on Facebook, jump on Instagram, give us a shout out, let us know. We'll be happy to bring some of these samples out there so you can give them a whirl and then try some stuff out. So
I can't stop looking at the names. Did you ask them for names?
No, I mean, we got Jordy.
Well, no, we were trying to come up with a name for this goofy segment.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting so many names.
So we need your help. We need your help for a name. So like we said, we're going to be coming to you guys a lot more often, giving you updates. We're going to bring some of our ambassadors on, let them talk to you. We got a lot of great people that are local. Corinne Mosier, Brian Sykes, George Gardner, the King of 2 Mile when he's in town. So a lot of great people that come in and out of the office. Even on the hunt side, the bone collectors, they were here a couple months ago. I know those guys will be swinging back through. So we need a name for this. So we were rattling off some ideas before. So if you can come up with something and it gets the most votes or the most likes down in the comment section, or we just happen to like it since we're going to decide, we're going to send you out a Bushnell prize package. And so, we'll have Wayne, guy behind the camera, reaching out to you, get all your information and get yourself something set up. So let's see some comments.
I did see the Scope Dope.
Scope Dope?
That was one of the recommendations, and that was my favorite so far. We talked about it before the camera started rolling. I was Scope Dope. It was going to be me, and I'm scoping this as the dope. Or vice versa. I don't know. Whichever one.
Haven't seen Turret Talk yet. Yeah,
Turret Talk was another one we liked.
Jordy reached out and said, hey, I'm going to see you guys next weekend at the Jurassic Classic.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Melissa Gillen chimed in. G2 and G3 reticle are best for the sport. Clean, easy reticles and perfect for the whole over.
See, we got In the Scope. We've got Bull... something, I can't read that second word, with Bushnell.
He said maybe use some glasses, man. You're squinting a lot of hard there. You're squinting pretty hard there.
A pair of binos.
Yeah.
Scope this out. That one's not bad.
Scope this out. I like that. I like that.
What else we got here? Any plan for a 1-6 in the AR optics line? Yes, that will be out. If you're out at the NRA show, I should have some there. We are actually bringing out 1-6 and 1-8 in the AR optics line. That will be out hopefully by January of 2020. Not logged in. Are we good, Wayne?
I think we're okay.
Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties. Should have both those in a ratio, so yes, we will have those in the air optics line next year or shortly after. Mill speak?
Mill speak?
Mm-hmm.
So one question, I know we get Brian. I mean, can you walk us through AR optics, TAC optics, Elite Tactical?
Sure.
Let's go in depth. Just a high-level overview. When we rattle those names off, those families, I don't think everybody, then we'll let Chad kind of go Prime, Nitro, Forge.
Yep.
So people can understand what's in those families.
Yep. So in the tactical side of the house, we have 3 families. AR optics is the opening price point family. It's basically a BDC reticle for any caliber you can buy for an AR. So BDC means bullet drop compensation. So if you have a 308, it's got drops 600 yards for 308 versus a Creedmoor or Valkyrie or 223. So those are 1-inch 30 mil tube scopes, opening price point. We have a new line coming out called TAC Optics. So far, we have 3 red dots in there that have been really popular, really well received. Next year, we'll add some rifle scopes to that lineup. That's a mid-price point. And then at the top end is Elite Tactical. We've got stuff for multi-gun, stuff for long range, some 30 mil stuff. I have one on a practice rifle, and then 1 red dot in that line also. Plus spotters and TAC Optics, spotters and Elite Tactical. And then the new rangefinder, we're going to work on some new tripods next year. So those are the 3 families, kind of a opening price point, mid-price point, and competitive.
Chad, you want to break down the hunt side, what people are looking at there, if they're on our website looking for things there?
Yeah, so the big ones for the hunt side, Prime, Nitro, Forge, and Engage. So Prime is really our entry level. On the rifle scope side, you'll see 1-inch tubes, cap turrets, a couple 22 scopes. The binocular side, you'll see something from real compact up through full size 12x50s. Price points are 90 to $180 for binoculars. So everything there's waterproof.
Exo barrier.
Yep, everything has exo barrier. So exo barrier is Bushnell's hydrophobic coating. So water doesn't stick to it. It's like Rain-X that doesn't rub off. It's bonded to the glass. And so every once in a while, at least our competitors, they'll have some sort of hydrophobic coating, but it's usually on their highest end, their highest line product. So we actually brought it all the way through. So that's a really, really key advantage, especially if you're buying at an entry level or mid price point. You're not buying $1,000 plus scopes. It's really rare to get any sort of coating that protects your lenses from scratches and dust and oil and water. So
the nitro, when you walk up the nitro, you're looking at a little bit of a change up there.
Yeah, so on the rifle scope side, 30 millimeter tubes, capped turrets, but they're capped target turrets. So when you take the turret off, it's actually a really nice target turret. It's waterproof with the cap off. So those are really a great mid price point hunting scope with some features to allow you to get into dialing a little bit on the range. On the bino side, we go up to ED Prime glass, magnesium chassis, phase coating. You really just get a lot of bang for your buck when you step up to the nitro binos. And then Forge is the top level for our hunt side. Rifle scopes, 30 millimeter tubes with exposed turrets. They're all locking turrets, so you have that security when you're out hunting. You don't have to worry about bumping a turret. But the elevation does have a zero stop, so you get a lot of the features that you have in a higher end tactical scope kind of scale down into a 30 millimeter tube. They take some weight out. They also give you all that security with the locking turrets. Yep. So from the hunt side, it's really built for that long range hunter, somebody that wants to experiment with the long range shooting but isn't ready to step up into the weight and the price of a full on tactical scope. And on the bino side, we add ultra wideband coatings. You get all your colors coming through at the highest light transmission level, as well as dielectric coating to boost the light transmission a little bit more. But just really high-end product. And, if you remember Bushnell as the $60 3-9 x 40, we're all new. We're doing some really different stuff from where the company's been in the past, and it's really exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, this is definitely a change forward. I mean, we get it all the time at the matches we're at. People are looking through our optics, looking through our glasses, and go, man, this isn't the Bushnell I knew, and this is the Bushnell my dad used or my granddad used, or even the Bushnell I have in my gun safe. And I think that's something that these guys have taken a lot of pride in. And from the marketing side, I get the benefit of working off of your guys' hard work and our engineering team. Everything is engineered, our own optical design, our HDOS, high definition optical system, something that we own, we control, and it's just about building a better product, but keeping that end consumer in mind, making sure that we're taking care of all those things that you want, but keeping it at a price point that is affordable, matches, in most cases, a little bit underneath our competitors, but you're not getting anything less of a scope. I mean, you're getting all those features, everything that you could possibly want. So
I'm going to grab a couple of questions.
Yeah, sure,
so we have one that says, what type of scope for a 30-30 lever action rifle? I mean, I would go back to what Chad said, Prime Nitro Forge. So it's about your mag range and your price threshold. So, but check out Bushnell's new Prime Nitro Forge for your hunting scopes for sure.
Probably there's a 2-7 by 32 and Prime.
That's where I was going.
Really nice for a brush gun.
Yep.
Some fast acquisition.
Yep.
And then there's one about what should I put on a 308 AR-10 hog rifle. It doesn't say 308, it says AR-10 hog gun. So we've got in AR optics, we've got caliber specific options that are 4.5 to 18, 3 to 9, 1 to 4. Some are illuminated, some are not. So there's tons of options out there, both low mag and high mag, illuminated, non-illuminated, that should work perfectly for that. And then we have a question, what can take the shock from a 45-70? Travis, do you know what the recoil is on a?
I don't know what that recoil is off the top of my head.
Yeah,
certainly anything in ET.
Can you explain the recoiler and what level we recoil to and all that?
I mean, a lower threshold for a lot of our product is 600 Gs. And we do take some up from there.
What's the equivalent? What's the caliber equivalent, do you know?
375 H&H, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
375 H&H is the recoil standard, and then we do that 600 times over and over and over and over and see.
And that thing is thumping. That happens here in our lab, outside of our offices.
We've even had to kind of up our game on our recoil machine. Not only the durability of the machine. We used to have a vertical drop type machine, and it would just tear itself up. So now we've got a couple of rotary to linear motion type machines, and they work great, but they make almost about as much noise as a gun does. So you know, it was a whole project.
If you do want to see that too, those are on our channel.
Yep. You can check out those videos and see that in action, most for sure.
Yeah, it was a whole project for me just to kind of tone the noise back because it's near our office.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
We've had some complaints.
What's the clarity of the new line compared to 3500, 4500, etc.? I would put the Nitro and the Forge on par with the Elites, the old Elites. Is that about your experience?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. We really worked hard on the new line to up the clarity, especially for the price point.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that we're asking more for Bushnell than we probably have in the past, but we're offering a whole lot more optic for that money, and it's still a great value in comparison.
Yeah,
to the rest of the
we have a number of products that are approaching theoretical resolution limits. So it's pretty impressive to get on a resolution collimator and see values that are basically matching or just above theoretical values.
Here's an interesting one. Any dielectric coatings in the rifle scopes?
No, you wouldn't have a dielectric coating in a rifle scope because it doesn't have a prism.
That's correct.
So
Different shape of glass, different kind of glass.
yeah, so you need the dielectric coating on a roof prism because you need it to bounce the light back off the prism. And rifle scopes don't have prisms; it's just a series of lenses. So
somebody asked if we could have a 15x bino at the match this week, and you're gonna have to ask Chad if he'll let me have a pair, because otherwise I won't be there with any. Chad, can I bring a pair with me?
Is Haywood our going?
I don't think he's
not going
there. No,
Okay.
after this one.
I will send a set with Brian Parrish.
That's
How
right.
about that?
I will get a set for myself, and I'll bring my
You
own
heard it.
personal set to the match.
You heard it.
Committed. Committed. No backing out now.
What reticle is closest to the Horus in a first focal plane? So the Horus reticle, we have a Trimmer 3 and H59 in our rifle scopes. We have an H322 in our LMSS spotting scope, and soon coming a Trimmer 4. But those are all first focal planes, so we don't have any Horus reticles in second focal plane this time. I hope that answers that question. Was there another one up there?
He's asking what reticle is closest to the Horus in first focal plane. So we do have some Horuses.
Yeah, all the Horus reticles are first focal plane. They'll be at the Guardian match. Haywood will be at the Guardian match this weekend with your 15X, and I'll bring a set to Texas the weekend. We can put up for sale.
Awesome. Don't sell those. They're trying to sell my very few samples.
Scope for a 7 mag. I hung with a 7 mag a couple years ago, and I was using Elite 4500, which again, what Chad alluded to, is really equivalent to a Nitro Forge. So there's plenty of reticle options, plenty of mag range options. Plenty of turrets. I mean, you got exposed or capped turrets in the Nitro line. So check out the Nitro and Forge for your 7 mag for sure.
Somebody just asked what happened to the Engage line. That hadn't gone anywhere. It's actually
here. I just forgot to talk.
It's actually going to grow, and yeah, we were too busy talking about everything else. And there's some stuff coming down the pipeline. I don't think we can quite deliver right now on this Facebook Live, but Engage is here to stay, and a lot of great offerings there.
Yeah, the same Engage offerings that we've had. We have. You'll start seeing them at more retailers. You're already starting to see them at more retailers now than you did last year when it was launched. So we still have the 1-inch and 30mm scopes, including the 6-24 that everybody really likes so much that it's hard to keep in stock, as well as the 4 sets of binos that are all really high-end binos that would be up there with the Forge level binos.
All right, we're gonna keep it on just for a few more minutes. If you got a question or something you want to ask now. Otherwise, I think we're gonna have to get back to work.
Haywood said he's going to try to do a bidding war on those 15s he's got.
I'm accepting bids also for the pair Chad's giving me. Just kidding.
I'm going to end up with no 15 by binos left.
That happens. So what else is us on the PRS schedule? Where else are you guys going to be at? Where else can you looking a little bit ahead?
Yep.
Everybody teaser where we'll be?
We're winding down for the season. I don't think any of us are quite to the level where we're going to make the finale, but we will have some team guys at the finale. There's still a couple Guardian matches left. I think they're even running a Guardian match in December in Arizona, New Mexico. So there's a couple matches left for the season. I think this weekend in Texas will be our last match. Chad, do you have any 3-gun matches left for the season?
Yeah, we have a big one next month. On November 3rd and 4th is the Bushnell UML Traditional Nationals down in Texas. So Matt and I will be down there representing Bushnell. Corinne Moser, Jeremy Reed, all down there, Team Bushnell.
Nice. In November?
Yeah,
That's
early
That's
November.
hunting season. I won't be there.
Early hunting season.
I won't be there.
Hunting season is a long season. That's a good thing about hunting season.
But yeah, it'll be a 3-gun match, some jungle runs, and some long range out to, I believe, 450 or 500 yards.
Wow. Nice. So Haywood just posted a comment. The 15 binos will be at the Core Fall Classic and the Gas Gun Finale at Core in Florida. So yeah, we got plenty of places to check out our optics. So.
Right on. Well, we're gonna call it a day here. Thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to join us. When we come back next time, we'll be a little bit more prepared, a little more official. Heck, we might even have an intro. Whatever it is, Scope Dope. That might be the winner right there. So, hey, if you guys aren't following us on Facebook, which you obviously are, be sure to follow us on Instagram. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. We've actually got some different pages on Facebook that you might not be aware of. There's an actual Bushnell tactical page. We've kind of given them the controls or the admin rights, letting some of our ambassadors post on our behalf there. So a lot of things coming from inside the matches. If you're more into that outdoors segment, what we have Bushnell Outdoors. So you can take a look at us there at Bushnell Official on Instagram. Then I think it's just good old Bushnell on the Twitter. So we're everywhere you want to be. So feel free to like us, follow us, share with your friends. Let's get those numbers up and keep throwing out some likes on some of these names so we can give away that prize package. So I guess that's it from HQ. We appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.